Hey everyone, this is Cholera, talking a little bit quietly today, but I am with Kenny, and we're going for Game 4 of the Tribes StarCraft Best League, or All-Star League, I guess, on the, basically a Terran versus Zerg spree here. July Zerg is on a tear, 2-0 so far. Obviously, it's a kind of a winners league format, so he is torn through Nada and Hwasin, and now he's going to be favoring playing that up-and-coming favorite, Leta, who has been stopped both in the OSL and the MSL, but still is a guy with a ton of promise, especially when I think when the pressure isn't on him necessarily as much. I think maybe in the Winners League he did better because he didn't feel the the incredible pressure of the one-on-one leagues. That's just a theory, of course, but I'm definitely looking forward to this game on Colosseum too.
Yeah, definitely. As you can see, the players having a little bit of friendly chit-chatter probably in the starting area before the game starts. I can see both of them laughing and typing frantically. Um, and yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting game. Lita is kind of one of those newer Terrans, well, not a newer Terran, but one of those Terrans using a lot of these newer strategies against Zerg players. We've seen him do a lot of different things. I'm interested to see how he plays this out. Colosseum 2 is a very interesting map for Terran versus Zerg for a couple different reasons. First off, for the ability of Zerg to pretty much hold their natural with ease, but that also allows Terran to go ahead and do the same. Actually, Colosseum's turning into another map that's becoming quite common for Terrans to go tech on, at least in the iCup world. So we're going to have to see where that goes. I really don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I do expect a really awesome high impact game, if you want to call it that. So that would be my analysis of the game.
Yeah, I mean, we might even see Lita go 14 Command Center, and, it's not an impossible build to get off of on this map. However, July, being a very aggressive player, might decide to counter that by going for an early pull. We'll have to see if he takes that risk, though, because it is so easy to block the main door as a Terran player that if July goes pull first, like a 9-pull or an overpull, and Lita does a standard build, a barracks into Command Center or something like that, he'll be able to hold it off just fine. I'm not sure if I've seen that many TVZ games on this map that have gone mech, but I do think it's not bad for especially for Wraith tech. Not so good for the Vulture run by, of course, because your natural because the choke point leading to your main base is so thin. But I've seen Lita actually go Wraith before in this map and did very well with it. 2-port Wraith followed up by Medic Marine. That was a long time ago, but I don't remember who he was playing against, but he completely destroyed a Zerg using that. So we'll have to see what he does here. July Zerg, of course, at the bottom left in yellow, and Lita in red at the upper left.
Yeah, definitely. The one thing that is very nice about this map for, I tend to think for the Terran player, if they do decide to do some sort of mech play into like Wraiths, like Cholera was saying, is that you have a lot of space to work with behind the natural expansion, which can do a lot of damage. As well as there's just a lot of areas to kind of sneak in and out of the natural and then back into the main. And like Cholera said as well, you can also take that 14 command center, which allows you to get a huge economic advantage in terms of what you're usually supposed to be at. I mean, a lot of the
He's
time we
not
will see
walling in, though. Interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's no wall-in, so I think what we'll probably end up seeing is either maybe some very aggressive early game strategy, or we'll maybe just see one barracks and see Lita get a little bit risky here. And yeah, he's putting his barracks way back in the back, and we are seeing a refinery, so perhaps we will see some of that tech that we were talking about earlier. Well, actually, we most likely will. So interesting. I don't know where he's going to go with this, but perhaps something that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of possibilities here. He could go one factory into expansion, or he could go for a 2-port Wraith build. I'm a little surprised he didn't wall off, though. I mean, that's so standard, and it's free for the Terran to do, and it does help a lot if the opponent wants to go for like Hydras or Mass Ling. You really need that wall, especially if you're going mech. I mean, you're vulnerable to a number of things, and one of them is gonna be just quick Ling attack here. July Zerg also got lucky with his scouting, so he's going to be able to get right into this base. And look at the 3 Terrans, Hwasin, Nada, and Flash. They know this is not the best situation to be in, especially when July Zerg, oh man, I don't even know if he doesn't notice it, but if he gets lucky and goes left, it's going to be disastrous for for Lita here.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know why Lita would leave himself so open like this. The only thing I can think of is that he's had some previous experience with July's style and just did not expect July to do any sort of early pressure, seeing the map is very large. So a lot of the time, early gameplay isn't necessarily the best strategy, especially in Zerg versus Terran. And I think Lita's just banking on that right now, hoping maybe he can get out his Vulture in time for Lings to come by, and that way he can go
Oh,
ahead and micro. Losing an Overlord though, so that will actually put July a little bit behind in terms of making units to come attack. So now Lita's probably feeling a little bit more safe in terms of some early Ling or Hydra attack, definitely, and going to go ahead and get rid of that sunken outside of his base, so no offensive sunkens can be put in place either. And we do see, it looks like a Vulture coming out now, so I think he's going to go for a little bit of Vulture harass here, and then perhaps move into what looks like to be a command center. So
oh,
very interesting build so
holy
far, I gotta
crap!
say.
Holy crap! July has put down a Hydralisk Den off of two hatcheries. I did not expect him to actually go for early Hydra pressure, but he obviously senses that senses weakness here. I think he both senses that there's going to be a mech build, and he senses that well, he knows that the door is wide open to Lita's base, so he's going for a crazy all-in build here. Two hatch Hydralisks against a Terran, and he is absolutely right. This could be absolutely deadly for Leta, because Leta has gone for a fast expand, and he has no wall in, as you can see, and I think he has no idea about what's about to come. But interesting enough, he's actually choosing to get another barracks. I think he well, that's really amazing. I mean, both players must be playing with map hacks or something, because he didn't get his Vulture into July's base, did he? I mean, there's no way he could have
No,
seen
he
it. But
didn't,
anyway,
no.
it looks like July Zerg is going to go in and surround one of the Vultures. Nice move there with the Speedlings, but it looks like the Vultures are going to be able to hold here, but not before the Marines go down. However, we're seeing two racks here, which is kind of unorthodox of a follow-up for Leta. So he's gone like for a couple of Vultures, and then now going to go for Mech Marine, it seems.
Yeah, well, what he's doing is actually becoming quite common these days. And what you do is you go mech to make the Zerg do exactly what July Zerg's doing right now, which is go for Hydra Ling pressure, and then he switches into Marine Medic, and that just absolutely destroys Hydralisk Ling. So I think his plan right now is if he can just hold off against this early pressure, which we're seeing at the wall right now, if he can hold off against this, he'll be just fine. He's actually pulling out some SCVs to block and repair that bunker and just hold off for a little longer. He used that secondary bunker to create kind of a little wall there, so very, very nice play. And we are seeing the lair now go down for July Zerg, perhaps a tech switch, or maybe just going to go into Lurker now that he sees the chance of there being Marine and Medic, and now opening up his wall so he doesn't want to lose that factory, and a lot of early pressure, but I think Leta now has plenty of defenses to hold this off, as well as he's got his expansion up and running by now, I'm sure. So at least economically, he's definitely got the advantage, and he does have his academy down as well, so he's going to be able to move into that Marine and Medic combo like we were talking about earlier. And that could prove to be extremely deadly against July's choice for early Hydralisk Den with lanes.
Yeah, oh, looks like, interesting enough, July's actually going to put down a Spire, so he's kind of trying to double fake out Leta, I guess. I guess the expected move would be to go Lurkers and try to contain the Terran, or at least prevent himself from dying from Medic Marine, but he's actually going to go for Air, and it's not a bad decision, because I don't think Leta knows about this at all. Leta might be expecting just straight up Lurkers, you know, that would make sense. And right now, July, though, still needs to do a ton of damage, or else he is going to go down this game, because, you know, we have 2 base against 2 base, and July went for those early 6 Hydralisks. I think he got at least speed upgrade also. So that is a huge amount of resources
Switching to
sunk
Spire.
into these. Yes, switching the Spire. Yeah, like I was saying. It's a huge amount of resources sunk into Hydralisks, and only to do, you know, kill a supply depot and like 2 SCVs. So it's a pretty big loss for July Zerg. He was expecting a straight Vulture game, and that didn't happen. And Luxury knows it. Luxury knows July is not in a great situation right now.
Yeah, definitely. One thing to note is July did get his third hatchery down in the bottom right-hand corner there. You can see at the natural, totally ninja
Yeah.
hatchery there. And now he's moving to Muta, and I think that Lita is at least ready for that, or Lurkers. As you can see, he's switching to 4 barracks now, and he is starting to put up the turrets, so I guess that he must have scanned the Spire that's incoming, and now he's going to have to deal with some July Mutalisks incoming. And really, I think if he can hold this off and size up a good army and then move out, I think he definitely has the advantage since he got that early command center up, and like you were saying, just not a lot of damage done by that Hydra Rush, so really he had to do a complete tech switch to to start playing in this game again. And now the Mutalisks are coming in, going to try to do some damage maybe to the natural, but Lita's already there waiting there with Marines and medics, and a lot of turrets are put up everywhere, so I really don't think July is going to be able to do a whole bunch of damage with this. He's going to probably just try to keep Leta in his base for a while, well maybe he takes one more base, or at least gets his third established and up and running, so that he can be on that 3 gas that's so nice for Zerg late game. And I'd expect that that's how he's going to try to play it out. Now as you can see, more drones going out, so he's either Maynarding a few drones over, or he's going to put down another hatchery or two and really try to take some map control here and then move into the late game.
You know, I'm just still amazed at the early game at how both players just totally read each other's builds without even seeing anything. Like Zerg didn't get his Overlord, and all he saw was 1 or 2 Marines coming out to kill his Overlord, and he thought right then, because there was no wall in maybe, he thought there's going to be a mech build, so he went for Hydralisks. And then Leta, after sending a Vulture to the natural, and by the way, some Lurkers morphing in the field, Leta sending some Vultures, 1 Vulture to the choke point, got chased away by Lings, and somehow he knew that July was going to go for a fast rush. I mean, maybe not necessarily, I think he actually knew there was going to be a Hydralisk rush, I don't know, because he put up a lot of bunkers quickly, so very interesting. But now this is July's chance here. Oh, but not if he loses Mutals like this. But July does have a lot of lurkers. However, the front of Lita's base is clogged with bunkers, so I don't know if he's gonna be able to get really far with these lurkers.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to do a whole bunch until he either moves up to Hive Tech or until Leta gets his vessels and starts to move out. That would be my guess, is Leta's just going to sit back until he gets his vessels up and running, which he could do pretty quickly, seeing that he went early factory. You can see he's already got his starport down and the add-on almost done, as well as his science facility just about finished. And now he's pushing back some of those lurkers, putting a little bit of pressure. He doesn't want July to get comfortable and get those lurkers in a position where he can start to move in. And also you can see that July has definitely got that third up and running, and I can't tell, but on the minimap looks like he has thrown down the fourth in the bottom right hand corner as well. So Leta does need to make an attack here shortly. He knows that, and I think that's why he's getting vessels and getting ready to move out, because he needs to start doing some sort of damage before July just gets too much map control, and that's really when it becomes a difficult situation for Terran to deal with. And now Leta, as you can see, scanning, he sees how many lurkers there are out on the field. He's going to need to whittle down those numbers and then move in to maybe take out those expansions, or just go straight for the gut and try to kill the main.
Yeah, I think he's probably going to go straight for July's gut, so to speak, right for the main, because, you know, that expansion on the lower right is so far away. It'll take forever to get there, and July can put a lot of traps in between, you know, or go for counters, whatever he wants to do. But I think if he continues with this push, he's going to be fine, and the only thing he needs is a vessel, and right there we see the vessel, so he's absolutely fine right now in terms of going for this push, and there's not much July can do about it. If he can Mutalisk bomb this vessel, that would be a huge gift, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it. Leta's very on top of the ball in general, and he's going to spot this coming from miles away. July losing a bunch of lurkers there, and he's just desperately using his gas right now to build more lurkers. But, you know, the early game disadvantage was just too much, and wow, July playing sloppy here this game. Very different from Game 3, where he just completely used precision tactics to destroy Hwasa. Maybe he's getting tired, or maybe a bit hungry perhaps, but he's certainly not playing nearly as cleanly as he was in the last two, I'll tell you that for sure.
Yeah, definitely some sloppy moves here. Now, as you can see, he's going to move in. Nice kill of the vessel there, and lurkers coming in the front. He actually could take out this attack very easily. July coming out of nowhere with a very sizable army, and I think he's going to be able to take out the remainder of Leta's army. Those lurkers are a little bit far back, so he has to back up, losing a little bit more than he probably wanted to there. But I think all he really needs to do at this point is move up to Hive Tech. He is on 4 gas now, so if he can move up to Hive Tech and try to limit at least the vessel numbers, which he has been doing. I mean, he's only killed 1, but there's only been 2 out on the field total. If he can do that, I think he'll be just fine. As you can see, Leta really wanting to turn on the pressure here, and July having to cancel all those lurkers, so that's a little bit unfortunate for him. And now Leta going to be on the offensive pretty much, I would think, the remainder of this game. And if July doesn't defend this very short Leta's main, he did not have a lot of units, this could be over very fast.
Yeah, I mean, July definitely made the right move there. He couldn't let Leta push him all the way back. He had to go for an attack, but I think it's going to be too late here. July has almost nothing left. I mean, Leta's just even irradiating one Hydralisk. That's a nice use of an irradiate, but that's going to be it for this game, it seems. GG coming from July. Yeah, the early game shenanigans just didn't turn out July's way. I mean, very, very interesting mind games, though, I gotta say, played by both players. And that was, just a fun game on Colosseum 2. Leta picking one up for the Terrans. And we'll be moving on to Game 5 when he is going to be facing another Zerg player.